Okay, here we have a Marshall bass head. The Marshall Dynamic Bass System bass head. No serial number on the front, but it is a model 7200. It is a 200 watt transistor bass head. I bought this in about 1996. I was gigging all the time. By the age of about 15, 16, we were playing in pubs all the time. And I, for whatever reason, was bass player. And I had a bass, but I didn't have a bass amp. So I went to the shop and I tried to buy a bass amp, and he quite successfully upsold me because it was RGM Music in Kilmarnock, and they were getting rid of their Marshall dealership, and I would say downsizing to a PV dealership. So they had to get rid of all their Marshall equipment before they could get the PV dealership. So I got it dead cheap. And this was my bass amp for forever. It weighs an absolute ton. It came with 2 big speakers, which may be responsible for my lower back pain. And I've gigged all over with it. It has been up and down stairs, in and out, bars. I've not gigged with it for a long while. If I was gigging with bass again, I would buy one of the compact, easy to carry things. This is an absolute beast. I don't know that the weight really merits any advantage of it, but it's mine and it's my baby. So I kind of use it for recording. I use it to give a wee bit of oomph to the DI. I essentially just use it as a preamp. One of the speakers is in my cellar and one of the speakers is in the tenement TV house. And one day I may pick it up, or maybe it has disappeared. Who knows? But I don't really use them anymore anyway. So this has had a few knocks. It has generally lasted quite well. But the last time I tried to plug it in, the signal was really weak. And a couple of the pots are very wobbly, which is not a great sign. It suggests that they've had a knock and something has gone on behind the scenes. So I'm basically going to open it up and probably work out what parts I need, if I need parts. And then I will do a video of me fixing it. But what I'm going to do at the moment is I'm going to open it up and I'm going to demonstrate what it sounds like, or hopefully it'll be the same as it was last time. So let's power it up. As is the want of Marshall at this period of their building, big fan, big noisy fan. Luckily you DI bass all the time. Look at that fan. Yay. Right, so it's got 2 big speaker outs, tuner out, effect send, effect return, but not an effect mixer, I don't think. Let me just check. No, it does not have an effect mixer on the front. So that would just be to wire in your effect board. A jack line out, and a XLR balanced DI, and a foot switch so that you can turn on and off the graphic EQ. I don't think I've ever done that. DI, what do you call, pad, which is quite good. And the earth lift. For some reason bass DIs are always a bit buzzy when you're recording them. So, on the front, I said I wasn't going to do this, but here we go. We've got an input for high and low. One of them doesn't work, I think it's the high, so I'm going to look at that as well. And then we've got one of these preamp blend. I don't think this is valves, but we'll find out when I open it up. And then we've got the EQ bit, which is the bit that feels like there might be a bit of an issue. I think they've maybe had a bit of a knock. And then the graphic equalizer, and then a compression circuit. So you get gain and you get volume. So it's dead simple, but I've always quite liked it. Not that I have much to compare it to, but it was always my baby. So what I am doing is I am just putting an XLR into the DI out, and then maybe it was high that worked. Okay, there we go, that was the problem. Okay, so we have left off. We're DIing out, and it's not as bad as I thought it was, so maybe this is turning into a review. So we're going DI, so the volume control doesn't actually do anything, because that's for your speakers, right? So we have to ignore that big knob, right? So the gain decides how much of that. Try and make it as dry as possible. So you get this preamp blend. All the amp makers, Marshall especially, loved to have these fake valve circuit thing. This is valve. This is solid. So I used to just always leave it on valve because like valves are cooler, but solid's got a lot more presence. And then you've got a booster circuit, so we can boost the bass. And then attenuate that. Then we can do the same for the top end. And both. Technically that's just louder, but and then there's a graphic EQ. Let's prove it works. Then there's a compression circuit. It is possible that it serves the same function as the volume. I see no difference. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up. Everything needs a clean. I'd quite like to look at why the high and low inputs don't, the low input doesn't work. And I'd quite like to look at why the EQ knobs are rattly. But I'm pleasantly surprised that it's not broken. So let's do it. So the same as the MG amp that I took apart, we've got the same bolts, probably from the same factory, and we undo them, and then the top of the amp comes out. I have forgotten my tin cup. I always talk while I do this, and this is the bit I should fast forward. Voila! Everything about this feels so robust. I wonder what remnants of 1996 will fall out of this. Okay, fun. So this is a totally different beast to the MG amp that I took apart. And we do actually have a wee valve in the circuit, which I didn't know. Some big old school resistors in there. So again, we don't actually have that much of a problem here, so I don't want to mess around too much. So that input on the right there doesn't work. Don't know why. But to get to the working end of the relevant circuit board is going to be a quest and a half. I might just make do with only having one input. So the pots for the EQ I've actually they've actually snapped off there. There's a kind of weird plastic backing that you get in pots, this brown stuff here, and it has snapped because they've taken the knock. Now it still works, but probably at some point I'm going to have to take this apart and fix them, which is not something I particularly relish because this is an absolute beast. I'm going to have to work out how to get this out with its big heat sinks and big transformers in order to get this board out of here. Gads. Given that it works, I might just make do with it. The existence of the valve also makes me question it a wee bit, because that means there's some real voltages going through this. I think I might quit while I'm ahead. The problem is you have to take everything out and put it all back in the right order without breaking anything, and it's not broken at the moment. Well, it is literally broken, but I might be able to find a way around that. I don't know. So we can take the front panel off. What time are we at? I nearly showed you, 1:15. I'm going to try and, I think if I undo these bolts here, then I might be able to access the pots. Let me have a little investigation of that. So these bolts I'll need to take off. I don't know what that power button is going to do when I take off these little Allen keys. Come on, there we go. There we go. So, my guess slash hope is that, I've just taken the knobs off. My guess slash hope is that if we undo all these little hex bolts, now they look like they might be quite rusty. If I can get them all out and then undo all the bolts, and the only thing that's keeping that panel on there is going to be that power switch. So let's give it a go. I'll do the bolts first. Now I'm guessing that this is too big. Oh, it's one size too big, I think. So I'm going to have to use my little screwdriver set. Now that is not going to be fun. no chance. They're not even budging. No, they aren't moving in a hurry. So the problem is, I could actually get those pots out, but the problem is getting to the underside of the circuit board in order to solder new ones in. The high pass one looks to be in a better situation than the low pass one. So the pins, let me try and show you. The pins of the potentiometer of the pot are soldered into the circuit and all good. But the body of it has snapped off those pins. So if I took it out, yeah, so you can see that's totally snapped off, and the high one actually just needs tightening. So the low pot has snapped off. Now the question is, if I got a new one and just connected it to those 3 pins, would I be able to, in fact maybe I'm being daft, I could wire something else in and just leave it kind of hanging by some wires, but I think I would struggle to get the arm of the potentiometer back in that hole and not have it mess with the soldering job that I've done, or that I would do. Because that has to be hard against the back end of the chassis for the bolt on the other side. I wonder what happens if I plug it back in carefully, because there's a valve, and then if the signal still goes through. Let's see. So I basically have an amp that has a bass boost. It doesn't have the bass attenuation, but given that we have a boost and an attenuation and a graphic EQ, I think, and I don't really use it. I think I could probably live without it. Maybe one day I'll replace it, but I think I would cause more bother than I solved by going in the back of that. So there we go. What I will do is I am going to clean it up. Let's have a look at that. See the valve lighting up. Which will never not be cool. So I'm going to disconnect that and give it a bit of a clean. and then put it back together, and I'm just going to leave it without its base knob, or I'll probably put it back on as a means of holding the knob, so to speak. Right, contact cleaner. So I'm going to see if I can get some of the crud off this amp. I'm amazed that the graphic EQ has not succumbed to gunk and dirt, because there's so much space for things to get through. I mean, this has taken a fair amount of beer over the years, because it's at a height of about 5 foot and change. And it's got a flat top, which can be a rarity on stage. Look at that. Manky. Absolutely manky. So I'm kind of wondering, because I have no intention of trying to get in the bottom of it, if that low input is maybe just gunked up. So I'll give it a good scoosh with contact cleaner, and probably won't do any harm to do it in that graphic EQ. Now all that's left to do is tighten all the bits. So oh, that contact cleaner is strong. I should really open the window. So I'm just gonna slot this back in. It won't serve a function. But it will be a place to keep all the knobs and make it look a bit more intact. I might one day check if you can turn this into a 19-inch rack and then just house it in something that's not this massive big wooden case, because it weighs a ton itself and it seems a bit pointless when I don't think I will ever gig this extensively. If somebody asked me to, I don't know, go on tour for a month as a bass player, I would buy something light. Okay, I think that sounds good to go. I wonder how a professional would get those bolts off. Now this is a bit of a challenge because it's a bit too heavy to manoeuvre. So I'm just kind of holding these in position. And getting the screws in a little bit until I've got enough of them in that I can secure them properly. So there we go. The only thing left to do is to put the knobs back on. These sound like metal, but they are plastic. They get a metal coating. It's quite strange. Right, so zero them all, and then put the knob on while it's at zero. Here we go, quick test. So, no crackly pots. That one doesn't work, but don't tell anybody. You play it away. And then you hit this at the chorus. I never felt the need for it. I've never used it, but why not? It's an extra tool. Anyway, all done.